I think that it is incredibly important to remember, as it relates to our military, and conservatives and Republicans especially, we love our servicemen and women. These are two separate issues. And the fact that I even have to spell this out because you have some people out there who are too stupid to understand the nuance with which I speak, whatever. One of the things that makes our country so unbelievably unique is this issue of civilian-controlled military. It is so incredibly important. It is a key principle of this foundation, the foundation of our republic. Now, I bring this up because this is what General Mark Milley represents to me. Mark Milley represents to me an attempt to overthrow civilian control of the military. I'm just saying that's what he represents to me. And I'm not saying that he did it. Although there's a lot of stuff that lead me to believe that he would totally, if he had enough support within. Think about this. According to some of the latest claims in this book, and it's not too far off from some of the things that Milley has stated in his own testimony before Congress, on national television, no less. If you have people, imagine this is the other way, where you have a bunch of military leaders who are in the Pentagon and they decide, we don't like Joe Biden. We're not going to listen to anything he says, and we're just going to shut him down. We're not going to follow his orders. And imagine that one of them phones their counterpart within the communist Chinese government and says that. How would the left feel? What would the claims be from the left? Can you imagine what the Anderson Coopers, can you imagine what the John Kings and the Joy Reid, whatever her name is, can you imagine what, not that she's like anywhere up there. Does she do a weekly show? I don't even know if it's daily. But the Anderson Coopers and the Jake Tappers and the everybody else, can you imagine what they would say? The Dan Rathers. What would the ladies say on The View? What would they say on the morning shows across all of the networks? If you had a little pocket of far-right military leaders who decided that they were going to undermine Joe Biden, not listen to him, not follow his orders, just imagine. And imagine, if you would, like I said, that the other one decides, that one of them decides that they're going to call their equivalent over at the Communist Chinese Party. They're going to call their equivalent, and they're going to make a secret call because they're worried about potential conflict. So that is what Mark Milley is being accused of doing right now in this book that's out by Bob Woodward. The Washington Post has a piece that says top general was so fearful Trump might spark war that he made secret calls to his Chinese counterpart. Imagine being so, and we had a listener who made a really great point about this too. Imagine being so close with the Chinese Communist Party that you can just call up your communist Chinese counterpart to avert armed conflict because you think that your commander-in-chief is the problem and not the communist Chinese. He made secret phone calls. Mark Milley is accused of making secret phone calls with his communist counterpart of the People's Liberation Army. Bob Woodward and Robert Costa, two of them, have done this book. I actually believe this. This is absolutely unacceptable, and there should be hearings on this immediately. Because we don't live in a military dictatorship. And this is why I say you can appreciate the service of our men and women in uniform, but it is your American duty to be against this kind of stuff. It is against everything this republic was established for. You have an obligation to be against that. Mark Milley needs to be court-martialed. He's a traitor. And I believe in the death penalty for traitors. This is not the time to soften language on this. There are certain principles of this republic that must remain firm. And there are certain truths that must not be watered down to accommodate this ridiculous, weak, and soft, politically correct culture. General Milley is an insubordinate traitor, in my opinion. He should be resigning.